So we start the trip off with South Dakota, and we had made our way to the Badlands, and had plenty of scenery there. Badlands, if you've never been there, you should try to visit. Had plenty of buffalo we seen as we entered into the park, and Amy had been wanting to see a bighorn sheep, so we got to see one of those. And sometimes the Badlands is not as green as it was this time, but it was green, and the colors is really amazing out there in the Badlands, of the different rock segments and the different spires and rock formations. It's quite amazing. If you've never made the trip out there, you should probably try to, especially if you're going to Yellowstone from the East Coast. I think that's a good way to start the trip off. Well, folks, here we are in Yellowstone, and we're still amongst the snow. We found another small waterfall, but still pretty spectacular. So here we'll have the sign to Yellowstone, and we stayed in Cody and went to Yellowstone that way. And among Yellowstone, of course, lots of buffalo and things of that nature. And real pretty rivers inside the park. Some of them was really raging from all the snow melt. This section here was over at the Yellowstone River, and I got some video here in a second that'll come up, but it was quite spectacular to see the different falls, and it was really was some very nice waterfalls to see. And they call this area the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, which the sign here tells you about the width of it and the depth. Yellowstone Lake, there's plenty of wildlife around the lake. Just a really good This is Old Faithful. It was really nice to see. And this lasted for about 3 minutes. If you don't want to see Old Faithful, but if you're watching this video, I figure you probably do. kind of strange how that this thing roughly goes off every 90 minutes. And it's a pretty good amount of water that this thing spews out. When we got towards the end, you could see the water a-coming. That was one of the drainages off of it where we was setting. And I mean, I had seen it on TV and videos and stuff, but it's like most things when you're sitting there watching it. The best pictures you can take of it just don't quite do it justice. Very interesting to see, and Yellowstone is it's really big. I mean, you can listen to people talk about how big it is, but until you're there driving around for hours and hours and hours, and the driving's good. I mean, we didn't experience too bad of traffic or anything like that. It was most of the time we moved around at the speed limit inside the park and pretty good pace. But really, definitely a park that I'm hoping I get to go back to, and didn't get to see everything inside the park. We decided we would save the Tetons, which ain't real far from where we were at, but we decided to save that for another trip. And these next pictures that's coming up, as we done a trip around the Beartooth Highway, there's Wyoming and Montana side by side, so we decided. Well, folks, it's do the tourist thing. And the lake is still froze over up here on the Beartooth Highway. You can see some tracks down there where some snowmobiles has been on it. We've got kind of foggy today, but some rain and whatnot. It snowed on us a little bit a while ago. Really nice scenery. What a view. Going through the mountains at the Beartooth Highway, they were, even though there was kind of a storm rolling over, it's quite spectacular, and if you can manage the time, it's definitely worth spending a couple of weeks around the area of Yellowstone. I don't think that would be too much time. Of course, some of the snowpack was still there, and of course it was snowing on us while we were there. So, and that was about June the 10th or 11th, somewhere's in there. Some of the snow was quite deep. There was places we went by and 6-7 feet deep, and spectacular waterfalls on this trip. We saw numerous ones. Towards the end of the video, there'll be several clips of some more waterfalls that we had found along the way. But the Beartooth Highway is definitely in the top 5 roads that I've ever been on. Here's some of the river at a big flow. Amazing amount of water was coming down this one I didn't even know I was going to see. Okay, folks, we have found another. You're showing this waterfall from my eye. This is coming out of Beartooth Lake. I have another one showing it from the camera is not going to do it justice. That's for sure. It's huge, and of course with the snow melt they're having this year, magnificent.